So this is the Steam controller. Now, I actually picked this up a couple weeks ago, and I asked on Facebook and Twitter if you'd like to see a video on it, so well, here it is. This is the video on the Steam controller. This is my thoughts, usage, and all that sort of stuff, so stick around. One of the coolest things about the Steam controller when I first opened the box was that the sleeve has a full kind of diagram of the controller, which was just awesome. Now inside the box you get two AA batteries, this kind of weighted extension, as well as the USB cable itself, the USB receiver, and the controller, as well as a couple of bits of documentation. Now the controller at first glance does look a little bit different with the two touchpads, but there are some similar features. Obviously the home button, as well as the start and back buttons, X, Y, B and A buttons, and a left mounted thumbstick. You also have some shoulder buttons and a two sets of set of triggers. But you also have two back buttons as well, which is quite cool, and some really well placed battery compartments, one in each of the sort of lobes, the palm lobes as I call them, which actually makes it feel really well weighted and means your fingers aren't in the way anywhere of any sort of hanging off battery packs that may be there, and the fact that the batteries included is pretty nice too. On the top you also have a micro USB port, so you can run this in wired mode if you like, and I did try and use some rechargeable batteries with it, but it didn't seem to work for me. Now the triggers are actually really awesome. They have kind of a double action to them, so there's the normal trigger pull, and then there's actually a sort of another tactile button on the bottom. And in terms of size, this is actually pretty massive, at least in terms of the palm rest size, as it curves towards your palms as opposed to away from them like this Xbox controller. Overall it's a relatively similar size and weight, although the feel is a little bit different. So I'm going to try and bullet point this to make it a little bit more simple and easy to understand kind of where I am with the controller. So the first thing I want to mention is the build quality. When I first took it out of the box, it didn't really feel like a premium device. In fact, in my sort of comparison of using Xbox controllers versus using this, the Xbox controllers do feel like a better built and better build quality and generally more premium type of device. That may just be my subconscious telling me that Xbox is more premium than a Steam controller or something, I don't know. But either way, that's how it feels to me. The plastic is nice enough in the hands, but certainly not brilliantly high quality, and while it does feel like a very sturdy controller, it's not necessarily something that I would class as a very quality premium type device. Now on the lines of quality, I just want to talk about the vibration and haptic feedback. Now I do have the current beta of the rumble support, so for example if you're driving off-road in GTA, then your controller will vibrate. That's nice enough, although it's ridiculously loud. And the haptic feedback is quite impressive, especially considering that if you put it in trackball mode for example and scroll your finger along, it does feel like using a trackball, but that really doesn't add to the experience much for me. I actually tend to have haptic feedback on both pads off the majority of the time, and the only thing that I tend to use in terms of vibration is the overall controller rumble, which again is very, very loud, so do bear that in mind as well. I want to talk about the shoulder buttons, the triggers, and the back buttons. Now first of all, the trigger, the actual shoulder buttons, I kind of hate. They're massive, they don't really fit my hands very well, the actual action on them isn't great, but the triggers, oh my god, I love them. There's a really nice amount of movement in them, and for the majority of the movement that's called the soft pull, and you can use that as your standard move forward or backwards. But right at the bottom there's another tactile button, which is actually fantastic because one of the most common configurations for this in Rocket League is having the trigger, the soft pull of the trigger and the majority of the movement being your normal forward movement, and then when you press the button at the bottom, that's boost. So instead of pressing B all the time, you can just push the trigger a little bit harder, and it makes it such a fantastic and easier to use experience. The actual back buttons as well are really cool. I have the left one as a toggling aim button while driving in GTA, so that I can just press this once and then use my thumb to aim with the sort of trackpad type thing, and use the back right button to shoot, which is actually really nice. The customization on it is really cool, and I really quite like them. A quick note about the D-pad, you do have to make sure that your finger is very much in the right place when you push the button, because it kind of detects where your finger is in that sense. It's not as accurate as you may think, and it's very much a make sure your finger is in the right place before you press the button type situation. Now I want to talk about this sort of trackpad type area. Now this is definitely the most kind of unique aspect of the Steam controller. Obviously there are plenty of controllers with back buttons, plenty of controllers with some customization options, but but none that have this, and this is obviously the kind of key defining point. And for me, well, I don't really like it. It's good for especially games that don't have any controller support, things that are designed for purely keyboard and mouse experiences, and it's nice that this is here. It works better than a controller for those things, but for the vast majority of titles that already have Xbox or PlayStation controller support built in, this just makes it more difficult to use for me. Now this is after a couple of weeks of using it. I'm not, I haven't just picked it up today and have decided that I hate it. This is after a couple of weeks of playing games, including GTA, Rocket League, Doom, and those sort of titles. So, a variation of stuff with both the pre-made maps, the maps for made by the community, and customizing things on my own. And it is a very difficult controller to learn. That is something that I kind of want to make quite clear. It's not a, Xbox controller where you can pretty easily pick it up and use it. You do have to learn this. So I guess that's that. And finally, I want to mention the software customization. Now, it's actually really awesome. The main two caveats to that are that one, you have to use Steam Big Picture mode to actually use the controller. A lot of the times if you launch a game from normal Steam, it will just leave it in the desktop configuration. It won't put it into the game mode, so you actually have to launch Big Picture mode and then launch the game. I really wish this wasn't the case. I don't mind having to go into Big Picture mode to change any of the settings necessarily, although that would be nice if I didn't have to either. And I know that it's meant to be for the TV kind of living room experience, but do they understand that people do have gaming PCs and desks, right? Like, that is a thing. So, that'd be really awesome if I didn't have to go in there. But overall customization is absolutely fantastic. It's really, really easy to change anything. There's so many options available and it's just incredible. The second caveat that I mentioned was that when I was actually first using it, it was actually really difficult to actually start learning, because what I would do was play a game and then the setting for the touchpad wouldn't be quite right. So I'd change it and then it wouldn't be quite right, and then I would change it and then keep doing that sort of iteration of not working and then changing it and then not working and then changing it, which meant that I was basically trying to relearn different ways of using the touchpad, because there are a lot of different options for it. Every time I was changing an option, which basically made me not learn anything for 3 days. So yeah, maybe like an easy mode or like a beginner mode might be quite useful, but yeah, other than that, it is really awesome. So my final thoughts on the Steam controller are that it's awesome and it's terrible. It's a real kind of innovation for games that don't have controller support. Stuff like Civilization or like Papers, Please type things where you have to like actually move your mouse around. It's awesome. It's a lot of a more easy experience. You don't have to use like Xpadder or something to map your controller to do anything else. It's all built into Steam, so it's awesome. But at the same time, it's not fantastic for games that already have Steam support for controller support. For me, anyway, I do hear plenty of people who say they love it and it's made them more accurate and stuff like that, but it's going to take a few more months at least for me to use this every day before I kind of get that level of accuracy in it, and obviously changing settings as well. So yeah, that's my main thoughts. It's awesome, but I don't necessarily recommend it. It feels like it's still in beta, although it's a very well supported device. Updates keep coming out every week for adding new features, fixing a few bits and pieces, so I'm really impressed with that, but I don't necessarily recommend it at this point. A Gen 2 of this device that feels a little bit better, quality, with possibly some revisions on certain things, including the touchpads and the D-pad and the shoulder buttons, please, the shoulder buttons, that would be quite nice to see. So yeah, I guess that's that. I'm not going to do an award or scoring here, just because my opinion of this will very likely change over the next few months as I continue to use it. So yeah, I'm just going to say that I don't necessarily recommend it right now, but I would actually love to hear if you have one of these. What are your opinions on it? Do you like it? Is it making you better at the games you have, or is it a little bit kind of naff and you don't really use it too much? I'd be very interested to hear in the comments down below. And also, has this video changed your mind if you're thinking of picking one up? Is it something that you're now not going to pick up, or something that you are going to pick up? I'd be interested to hear. So yeah, I guess that's that. If you want to pick it up, there is a link to the Steam store down below, and if you're picking up anything else, especially on Amazon, it'd be awesome if you use my affiliate link. It's genuinely helping me keep these videos going, so that'd be awesome. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like and subscribe. If you didn't, feel free to dislike, but let me know why in the comments down below so I can improve for next time. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you all next video.